And welcome to the United Stand. It's an early start this week in what is going to be a big week for Manchester United. But the breaking news is that the Manchester United board have already made their decision and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be Manchester United manager. Their mantra that they're putting out publicly that they are still going to be looking around and they'll make a decision in May is apparently that. It's just a mantra. They will be giving Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the job. They may not announce it until May, but the decision has already been made. What's your thoughts on that? I think my initial thoughts are very excited. I want him to get the job, but also I've got to be totally honest with you. There's a big area of concern in me because I think what we, the fans, want may not be why the board have made that decision, which I'll talk about in a moment. And also, as I said last night, they don't need to make this decision now. I think a clever person doesn't make this decision till May. As I said, I massively want Solskjaer to get the job. I think the job that he's done in a short period of time to get us to fourth place, I think we will beat PSG tomorrow. We're doing the preview at 1 o'clock and I'll show you why, but I think we will beat PSG tomorrow. Will we get top four? We're in a very good position to do it, but we have got a lot of tough games still to come. We've still got to go to Arsenal, we've got to play Chelsea, we've got to play Man City, we've got to play Liverpool, but we're good enough to do it. I mean, I think a bad injury to Pogba or something could derail it, but it's like Gary Neville said yesterday, the board have almost got to give Solskjaer the job because if they don't, they're going to face a backlash from the fans. I agree with that and I don't agree with that. I think at the moment, if we had to make a decision, you give him the job. For me, because we don't have to make a decision, I still would be, in my mind, I want to give him the job, but let's see where we are in 4 months' time. So it's big positive news. Where's it come from? Well, it's come from The Sun, which straight away always makes me think, what a load of rubbish. But actually, it's come from Neil Custis, who, I've got to be honest, I've always said this, when he puts articles out about Man United, I will normally talk about them, not because he writes for The Sun, I know The Sun's got a bad reputation, but because he clearly has got links into Manchester United. Some of the things he's written over the years have been spot on, whether it was Rooney leaving, whether it was signing Lukaku, whether it was the issue between Pogba and Mourinho, that he was, Mourinho tried to put him on the spot last August and he was actually right. He obviously does have leaks from Manchester United. And what he's saying is that Manchester United have made a decision on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He will be their manager, but they won't probably announce it until May. Now, what's your thoughts on that? I mean, mine this Monday morning is, wow, we've got our club back. We're playing the way we want to play. We've got somebody who understands what our club's all about. And we're actually building some momentum. And who knows where that momentum can take us because he's got a long-term vision and he isn't going to suddenly park the bus. That's not what he's going to do. So it's tick, 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 tick for me. That is brilliant. And we should end the conversation there, I suppose. But there is a big but. Do you trust the Manchester United board? Because I don't. I don't think they've done enough over the last 6 years to earn that trust. And I think they've got to earn it back. They've done some good things, but they've done consistently bad things. Let's not forget, it was this board that appointed Moyes. It was this board that appointed Van Gaal. It was this board that appointed Mourinho. That wasn't one mistake. That was 3 terrible mistakes. And I don't think you as Manchester United fans would have appointed any of those managers because they don't befit what Manchester United's all about. Some of the signings, very, very, very concerning. The lack of spending over the last 3 transfer windows, very, very concerning. So I agree with, I'll go to quote Gary Neville again, I agree with him. The problems that he was talking about with Manchester United back in September, October time, yeah, Mourinho was a massive problem, but there is problems with that board and they're on trial as much as Ole in some ways. So my concerns about this is that, one, are they making a rash decision too quick? Hopefully they won't actually give him the contract till May because that's a clever thing to do. If they were to give it him now, that's stupid. But my main concern with Ole is they, like us, had no idea this was going to go this way. They brought Ole in as a short-term manager to get the club and the fans back on board, to say, look at the past, look at Ole, we're just going to see what we can do. They never expected this to happen. They've got extremely lucky, and we've got extremely lucky, and that is probably why they're looking at using Ole. But my concern is, are they giving him the job for the wrong reasons? Not the right reasons for us, but the wrong reasons for them. The wrong reasons for them being, well, they haven't got to pay 50 million to Pochettino to get him. They haven't got to pay Zidane massive money. Ole will be considerably cheaper than those 2 options. He probably is a better option, but he'll be considerably cheaper. They haven't got to give Pochettino a £300 million transfer budget. They can probably get away with giving Ole 100. And they're the things. That's it. That's pretty much where my concern ends. My concern is, are United's board excited about giving Ole the job because ultimately what they're interested in is money and he's cheap and they can dictate to him what he's going to get and he's not going to be as experienced, as confrontational or as demanding as a Pochettino or a Zidane, which for us as United fans isn't a good thing. We want Ollie to get the job, but we want Ollie to get the same transfer resources that a Pochettino would have got. I said it yesterday. Manchester United, regardless of what you think about Mourinho, Manchester United under Mourinho, under Van Gaal, and now under Ollie, I think we're 200, maybe 300 million pounds away from being a title challenger. I certainly think we're 3, maybe 4 top players away from being title challengers. And if Ollie doesn't get them, doesn't matter how many songs we sing about Ollie's army, doesn't matter how pumped up he gets, doesn't matter how many times he says I'm going to play Mason Greenwood, if he's not given 200 million to sign 4 top class players this summer, we ain't going to win the title. And that is very important, and that is the grey area that we should actually paint in rainbow colours, really, because Ollie should be getting the job. He's the right man for the job, but he's got to be given the resources that job needs. Otherwise, we will be in a position in 2 years' time where we're not bored of Ollie, but we'd be like, well, his ceiling's 3rd place. He can't take us beyond that. And we must remember that Mourinho couldn't take us to 1st place, and he's done it every other club. No manager can come into Manchester United and take us to the title without 3 or 4 more top-class players on top of that squad that we've got. And that is the bottom line, and that's all I'm going to say. I want Ollie to get the job, but I want him to get the job for the right reasons. And as Gary Neville said, if they give it to somebody else, they're going to have a problem because we want him to have the job. But are our board giving him the job for the wrong reason? Are they giving him the job because he's cheap and they think they can get away with giving him hardly any money? That is my concern. And we will find out in the summer. If Ollie gets the job and he gets £200 million, happy days. Happy days. That's what I want. I want him to get the job, but I don't want him to get the job because he's cheap and the board think that they can manipulate him and not give him much money. I thought Ollie's comments on Friday were slightly concerning when he said it's not necessarily about going out and spending money, it's about the right players and it's about developing what we've got. That's the sort of comment you get from Arsenal over the last 10 years where they're happy to be 4th. We want to be first. What if Man City win the quadruple? What if Liverpool win the title? That is unacceptable. So next year, we've got to be challenging those 2 teams. To do that, he's got to have money. Pradnya Wadki says, I think there is a high chance the board is giving it to Ollie, assuming they can force their low budget ideology on him for transfers, which is wrong. That would be my concern, but we'll have to wait and see. They've got to invest in him. And also, let's flip it a positive way. If Pochettino was going to cost 50 million to get him out of his contract, and then he wants 200 million to spend, that's 250 million. That same 250 million should go to Ollie, because he's not going to cost 50 million from Mulder. He's going to cost about 5. So I hope they don't use this as a money-saving exercise, because that's not why we want him. We want him because he's done brilliant things on the pitch. He's done brilliant things off the pitch. He's made our club feel like our club again. He's got us playing the way we want to play. We're excited. We're engaged. We love our club again. That's why we want him. And if that's why Woodward wants him, high five. Brilliant. But I have my concerns that they want him for a different reason because they think he's going to be cheap. And that is something we need to keep our eyes wide open about. If he's going to be given the job and the money, there is no complaints. So it's watch this space, I think. Ole all the way. I'm glad that he makes us look steady and we're ready to better any team in our way, says Bashir Salihu. Why are prices of players so inflated in the modern day, says Daniel Kennedy. United have always been cheap. I think even Fergie was cheap, says Jay Okay. And they don't care about the cheaper options. They have Jose 20 million and they will give Ollie 200 million. The only question is if Woodward will deals out of stinginess again, says Uncle Dubious. And they're only giving their opinions, says Anna English. Which 3 to 4 players would you want at United right now, says Tala Ahmed? Well, we've spoken about that before. For me, it's a right midfielder, it's a midfielder, and it's a centre-back, and it's a backup striker. And remember, we might make about 50 million in sales. There's a few players that we can get off. Dark Side Funk says, give him a £300 million budget, and then we can go. Who would you like to replace Matic at CDM, says Alex McGillivray, and Dembele and Didi. There's a few players like that. Ollie all the way, mate, says Hunter. My question is, what happens to Lukaku? He obviously doesn't suit his style. Hopefully Lukaku would go in the summer, I think. We better win tomorrow, says Decky. And the PSG previews at 1 o'clock. This is a bonus show. I wasn't going to do this show. I just woke up this morning and saw that this news that United are going to go for Ollie, which I think is very encouraging news to open the day up with. I'm very, very pleased about it. I just hope that the club are doing it for the right reasons, because I don't trust the club. I think the club are all about money. Just to emphasise that, I think the situation at Manchester United over the last 3 transfer windows has been very, very poor. We didn't spend much money last transfer window. We spent nothing in January. We didn't really spend any money on Sanchez because we gave them Mkhitaryan. We didn't spend much in the summer. So the investment over the last 3 transfer windows is terrible. There should be money banked from those transfer windows to add to this. I mean, realistically, we should have 300 million. We should have 300 million because we didn't spend much last summer, and United should always be spending about 150 million. So we should have over 200 million to spend. Whether we do that or not, I don't know. But what irritates me about Manchester United and many football clubs in England is that they are run by people who should not be running football clubs. They are run by businessmen who just want to drain the clubs of money, whether it's Newcastle, whether it's Manchester United. They want to drain our club of money. We're the richest club in the world. We should be spending £300 million every summer, not because we're greedy and we're all about the money, but because we generate that money. I'm wearing merchandise, you're wearing merchandise. People are paying big money to go to watch Manchester United. Sponsors are paying Manchester United big money. A club to spend 60 million in a transfer window in the summer and nothing in January. I mean, how much profit are the Glazers and the board making? You know, how much money do Manchester United make per season? And then we've spent 60 million in 2 transfer windows. It's pitiful. Absolutely pitiful. We've got loads of money, but we're run by people who want to make money. And that's always going to be the problem. And I've said this before. People should have a problem with the Glazers when we won the Champions League and when we're doing shit, because it's the same problem. They don't want to spend the money because they want to take it out. And you're always going to struggle. I mean, I know we take the piss out of Man City, but we're always going to struggle against Man City when they've got a billionaire who doesn't want to make money out of the club. He's just doing it for fun. You know, he doesn't... I've bought Man City, I want them to win everything, and I will spend what it takes to do it. That's Man City's ideology. That's PSG's ideology. Manchester United's ideologies, we make more money than anyone, but we don't want to spend it because we want to give it to our shareholders. And when you're up against that, it doesn't matter how big your history is, or how good your football club is, or how big your fan base is, Man City only existed in 2008, really. There were nothing before that. But they're always going to have a massive advantage over us because their owners just want to spend money for fun because they want to be successful. Our owners don't want to spend money because they want to make money. And that's the thing you need to get into your head as a football fan of Manchester United and Manchester City. Man City will just spend to be successful. They don't care about profits because they're billionaires. Manchester United, they're rich people, but they're rich because they're businessmen and they want to take the money out of the club. And that is why we're always up against it. And this is why we must be wanting people like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as our manager, but also keeping a very, very close eye on why and how much money is going to be given. Because I don't think anybody can succeed without money at Manchester United. I think that's the world we're in. That squad needs renovation. So let's keep our eye on that. But I want him to be our manager. I don't think he should be appointed before May because... You know, it's just a stupid decision to give it before May. What if we had a massive injury crisis? What if he suddenly starts playing hoofball? But the way things are going, I'm like most of you lot. I'm very, very confident that he's going to keep doing this. The players are happy. The fans are happy. The backroom staff are happy. He's the man for the job. He's the man for the job, 100%. I just would wait until May because you just never... You don't need to give it him now. He would take that job next May. He'd take it at Christmas. He wants that job. I want him to get the job. I think at this point, I feel like Pochettino or Zidane would be more of a risk than Ole, which I never thought I would be saying 2 months ago. So, yeah, it's great. Absolutely great. Please do smash a like on the video if you are watching live or if you're not watching live. How can you... here we go. Spoonie Pizzas. How can you say we've not spent anything when we've spent nearly 1 billion in the last 6 years? I don't think United have spent nearly 1 billion in the last 6 years. I don't think we've spent 1 billion in the last 6 years because I read a stat about a year ago that Manchester United, Liverpool were the first club to spend 1 billion with Man City, and that was in the Premier League area. So I can't think how United have spent 1 billion in 6 years. You're wrong there because no, we haven't spent 1 billion in 6 years. No way. And even if we have, to answer the question, even if we have spent 1 billion, we've spent it badly. And even if we had spent 1 billion, which we haven't, we could spend 2 billion. That's my point. We don't spend anywhere near what we generate. That's the point. More money goes out of our club to the pockets of our owners than it does go on transfers. That's my point. And you can't come back at that. We do need a backup for Pogba today. Football Manager will be around 1:30. I'm going to do PSG Manchester United preview at 1 o'clock today, so you can join me for that. But thanks everybody for watching. Please do drop a like on the video. Get your comments in below. I think it's very positive news that Ole will be our manager by the sounds of it. My only reservation is I don't trust that board, and are they doing it because he's cheap and they think they can just get away with giving him 100 million in the summer, which would be a joke. I want Ole to get the job. And I want him to be given the money. I don't want Ole to get the job because they see him as a soft touch because he's so desperate to get the job and they're not going to give him money. That's my concern. And that's the only concern because he is the right man for the job. Just don't take the piss out of him. Give him what you would give Zidane and Pochettino. Speak to you all at 1 o'clock for the preview. Thanks for joining me this morning. Positivity reigns as per usual, and I'll see you all soon.